Toastmaster Asghar, what are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm excited and I'm panicked. I think this two, the parallel emotion is running parallelly inside me
Okay,
currently.
okay. And what if you win the title, International Speech Contest in KTC?
Well, I think it will boost my confidence to go still further and
Okay,
to do something higher, bigger,
okay,
to seek something more,
okay.
and regarding the communication and leadership.
So, best of luck. Best of luck for
Thank you, thank you.
the contest.
Moving on to our next speaker, Toastmaster Asghar. The danger of storytelling. The danger of storytelling. Toastmaster Asghar.
Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guest. Some 1 week ago, I was confirmed that I would be speaking on 30th January 2019. I was excited. Then I panicked. Then again I excited. And then again I panicked. And in between the excitement and panicking, I started to my search regarding the speech. After all, I was facing intelligent audience and smart judges. My search primarily consists of Googling how to deliver a great speech. After hearing ad nauseum from every pedestal, podium, and every member of Toastmaster fraternity about the importance of a speech with storytelling material, I naturally narrowed down my speech to find out this particular type of talk for this audience. And my research did not go in vain. It ultimately led me an online forum called TED Talk. How many of you visited this? Oh, great. I guessed so. I spent my last weekend with some of those TED Talks. They were really worth watching. I was moved by some of those talks. I even wanted to reproduce one talk word by word over air to keep all of you on the edges of your seats and rock the stage with a fantastic story. But then, of course, I thought about my ever-attentive, eagle-eyed judges who are nowadays not distracted by anything like their contribution, etc. After watching those TED Talks and observing my judges, the conclusion was, I changed my mind. I thought that I should be writing my own speech, and that is what I'm here to do. But I want to talk about my own observation about the storytelling in our speeches. I, of course, want to talk about the power of stories, but I also want to talk about their limitations. I also want you to challenge your assumptions about the stories we preach in our speeches. I'm sorry, being the bearer of bad news, but somebody has to be. So allow me to propose that stories are not as magical as we think they are. And there are more than one reason. Firstly, I think we are mostly drawn towards the character and the protagonist in our stories that we usually forget the all side. We are usually drawn by those characters who are favorable or likable. And And this makes sense. Because when you like someone, then you care about him or her. But the inverse is also equally true. If you don't like someone, then you don't like his stories or her situation which shaped his or her life. The story of our very Malala Yousafzai is a case in point. There are a lot of books which devoted their chapters written by Western authors about the stories of Malala Yousafzai. But how many of us have a sympathy over Malala Yousafzai's story after being convinced that she is working on an agenda or her very tragedy is a farce one? Another reason I think stories are not as effective because when we tell about something, we are so involved in the individual tragedy that we often fail to link of that tragedy with an overall discrimination which is prevailing in our society. We often heard speakers who tell us about their suffering being a religious minority in this country. But we do not make a link with that suffering, with that suffering to the overall discrimination or the exclusion which we have in our society. Recently, Sindh Higher Commission decided to print the books of the worship places of our minority communities in our textbook in an attempt to tell our children that there are some other people who also go somewhere. Unfortunately, that idea was bulldozed by some more powerful one almost unanimously. So in the final analysis, maybe my argument has no merit, but I would say that there is something more than stories that make us better. Alice Walker once said that look closely at the present you are constructing so that you can dream it in your future. Now storytellers can help us to dream, but in the end of the day, it's up to all of us to have a plan for implementation in our own small spaces. Contest chair.